Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the Online Series 13 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. Today we're trying out a super fun team centered around MARSHADOW, as well as a bunch of physical attackers in Assault Vest, Yveltal, White Herb Zekrom, and Zacian. The idea here is that MARSHADOW is one of the faster Pokemon in the format, and you can use it with coaching in order to further increase the stats of your really strong physical attackers here. So this was a rental that I actually found from Francesco Pardini's YouTube channel. He posted a video with about like 10 plus rentals featuring all kinds of Pokemon in this format. So I've linked that video down in the description below. Huge thank you to Francesco and the original creator of this team for putting it together. And as always, I'll do a quick breakdown of the team, but if you want to just skip to the battles, check out the timestamps in the description below. And yeah, thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoy. Question of the day, I want to know what your overall review of MARSHADOW is, both from a competitive and from a casual standpoint. So let me know in the comment section below, and let's talk about the team. So the main thing about MARSHADOW in this format is that it is fairly speedy. You've got base 125 speed, so you're outspeeding most of the things, right? But this is a format that does have a lot of Tailwind in it. You also have a lot of Yveltals and Calyrex Shadow Riders. I think part of the problem is that fighting and Ghost is just not exactly the best typing for MARSHADOW. It really just gets wrecked by a lot of the most common attacks in the format. So the idea here is for it to be a more supportive-oriented Pokemon with coaching. So the idea of coaching is that you've got three really powerful physical attackers, Zacian, Zekrom, and Yveltal, and MARSHADOW can boost all of those accordingly. The rest of the attacks are fairly straightforward. It's all just offense. You've got Shadow Sneak to break through Focus Sashes. This is really valuable on like Calyrex Shadow Rider and Lunala in particular as well. Spectral 3, which is its signature attack, and then Close Combat as well. So MARSHADOW definitely can pack a punch. It doesn't do like a ton of damage, enough where you can one-hit KO most things, but the idea is that you can combo it with any of your physical attackers and really snowball from there. But when you're bringing it, you're primarily using it for coaching. I think that MARSHADOW is a little bit harder to use in this format because, like I mentioned, some of the most common Pokemon in the format really just give it a tough time. But with Focus Sash, you can at least survive for attack, and a single coaching boost can really change the outcome of a battle as well. So one of the primary partners that you're going to want to use coaching for is Zekrom here. The idea with Zekrom here is that you've got the White Herb, and so that ignores stat drops from like Intimidate or opposing like Max Wormwinds or Charms, for example. And so MARSHADOW is really nice into Zekrom. Zekrom's actually a super good anti-meta Pokemon right now, in my opinion, because when you look at like the top Pokemon, like Yveltal, Kyogre, Calyrex Shadow Rider are all up there in terms of restricted usage, and Zekrom is actually fairly good into all of those, especially defensive Zekrom, where they can't necessarily get a one-hit KO onto you, but you can retaliate back and just do so much damage in return. So the one thing I'd note is that the Zekrom isn't really that speedy. Even after a max airstream, you're still slower than a couple of things, and so, be careful about that. Don't expect to be outspeeding like Zacians and Calyrexes after just a single speed boost. The next physical attacker and the next Dynamax option here is going to be Assault Vest Yveltal. We've used physical Assault Vest Yveltal a bunch on the channel already, and it's a set that's definitely popped up more, I feel like, in Series 13 relative to other formats that Yveltal was legal in. So you've got Rock Slide here, which gives you good coverage into flying-type Pokemon, and especially something like Charizard, for example, and overall can also help you out against like opposing Yveltals. And so, yeah. MARSHADOW can also use coaching onto Yveltal here. Part of the nice synergy is like you could lead MARSHADOW Zekrom, and if they have like a ground type Pokemon or something that threatens Zekrom, you can switch Zekrom out into Yveltal, baiting a ground type attack, wasting a turn, and then getting a coaching while you switch it in as well. That's one of the plays I like going for with this team. To round out the team, you've got Zacian here. This is just a fairly standard bulky Zacian with admin and 92 speed EVs, very standard set. You've got supportive Citrus Thundurus. This is very much like the Thunduruses that dominated in, Gen 5. And so it actually does have Swagger, which is a fun or maybe not so fun throwback. And the idea with Swagger here is that you could actually potentially self-Swagger your Pokemon, but obviously you risk, missing Swagger and then the confusion chance as well. But, if you're in a really bad spot where you're like, okay, well, I don't really have a way to beat this one Pokemon unless I go for an immediate +2 attack boost, that's one play you could look for. It's obviously fairly risky, but yeah, Swagger here can just be annoying for your opponents to deal with. Like, Thunderwave plus Swagger, as we all know, means that your opponents can't really attack nearly as easily. So yeah, you could replace Swagger for another move like Taunt with this set, I think, as well. But I think it's fun to try out. And yeah, I think like if you wanted to edit this team, you could potentially like add Lumberry on Zekrom, so you could go for self-Swagger a little bit easier, or you could have Weakness Policy as well. A lot of different viable items here on the Zekrom, in my opinion. Even Life Orb could work. And then the final Pokemon on the team is just Shukaberry and Incineroar here. And this is nice just because, yeah, like you want ways to really stop opposing Zacian and Groudon, because those Pokemon can give Zekrom some trouble. So Having played with the team, like lots of different ways you could go with. I think Marshadow plus any of the physical sweepers in Zacian, Zekrom, and Yveltal is acceptable. I think Thunderous for support plus any of the attackers is really strong as well. I think the main things that I haven't done as much is like really lead defensively. So like Marshadow Thunderous, Incineroar Thunderous, Incineroar Marshadow, because like none of those leads really put on too much offensive pressure. So I generally value leading one of, you know, the main attackers, if not even both. So yeah. One other thing to talk about here is obviously your attackers are all almost primarily physical. Thunderous is the only Pokemon with even any special attacks on this team. So you are relying a little bit harder on the physical spectrum, and so keep that in mind. But yeah, I think it's really exciting to be able to try out a team with Marshadow, so let's jump into things. Okay, this is very hyper offensive with Calyrex, Eleki, Kyogre, Zacian, Whimsicott, and Yveltal. I think Zekrom's really good here, but has to worry about a couple of things. Potentially Will-O-Wisp from the Calyrex Shadow Rider, as well as Play Rough from Zacian. Marshadow's interesting. For example, I could lead just Marshadow plus Zekrom. I think Supportive Thunderous is not bad here thanks to Thunder Wave, but the thing is, if they just Tailwind, the Thunder Wave doesn't even really make a difference. If I'm my opponent, what am I leading to beat Zekrom? Probably something like Zacian Whimsicott, personally. So, I'm thinking Marshadow, Zekrom, Zacian, and then Incineroar in the back. The reason I'm bringing Incineroar here is so that I have a switch in. Let's say they lead Whimsicott plus Zacian, turn 1 I can just switch into Incineroar immediately. I don't think I'm going to do this, but like Dynamax Incineroar is on the table if they don't bring Kyogre, but it'd be shocking if they didn't bring Kyogre. Although I guess because there is a Zekrom, maybe you're a little bit scared of it. Okay, that is going to be Whimsicott and Kyogre. Okay. Thunderous Zekrom here would have been pretty sweet. Could be Charm on the Whimsicott as well, but I'm not that worried about Charm thanks to White Herb. I think Scarf Kyogre here makes a lot of sense, personally. They probably just Tailwind, maybe Water Spout. Okay, I think I'm down for just coaching Dynamax and then Lightning into Kyogre. The reason I want to go for coaching is to get a defense boost to help better survive potential Play Rough or Behemoth Blade from Zacian in the back. Tailwind Water Spout, Charm Water Spout both make sense. I thought about Shadow Sneak, Airstream, and a Whimsicott because if they went for anything other than Tailwind, I get to punish them really heavily. The problem is if they Tailwind and I make that play, I give them a free switch in, and that's really bad for me. It was Charm though. Yep. Okay. That's fine. Yep, and it was Scarf Kyogre. Yeah, so I called exactly what my opponent was going to do there, but, you know, there's no guarantee they're going to Charm. Like, if they just Tail and Water Spout, it's pretty bad for me. And with coaching, it's honestly not the end of the world because, yeah, you can Charm me again, but, you know, I get rid of Kyogre, which is already a pretty big deal because now it paves the way for Incineroar in this matchup, so... Shadow Sneak and Airstream would have worked out, I think, slightly better onto the Whimsicott slot. Because I get a speed boost, then Marshadow's faster than everything in the back. I could go for a coaching onto Zekrom the subsequent turn, but I don't really regret that play. Especially because I'm at +1 attack and defense. This is where having White Herb actually was really handy. So I'm curious if they bring out Zacian. If you bring out Zacian, I could actually... They do bring it out. I would think they Tailwind now is the thing. What is their, like, last Pokemon going to be, too? Is it, like... Like, basically, I can try to just KO the Zacian here outright. I'm not opposed to switching into Incineroar here. I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely going to survive a Play Rough here. Like, I'm down to just max Lightning plus Shadow Sneak Zacian and try to just get rid of that. We'll see if they protect. Yeah, they do protect. Okay. Sneak Airstream on a Whimsicott would have been sweet. Maybe they go for a Charm here. Okay, they Tailwind. That makes sense. Instant switching would have been pretty sweet there. Should still do a hefty amount, though. Yeah, it's a really good amount. I actually didn't even need the Shadow Sneak. Because of that, then I actually don't mind hard switching to Incineroar here. And just going for another Lightning onto the Zacian. I think what this boils down to is what is my opponent's Dynamax option and how are they going to utilize it. I had the opportunity to KO Whimsicott there, but I was never going to deny Tailwind. But the thing is, if I had KO'd Whimsicott there, or if I had switched an Incineroar last turn, then this turn I'd have a Fake Out plus Lightning into the Zacian slot, which would be fairly valuable. Or I could Fake Out Airstream Whimsicott, for example. Yeah, they go for Play Rough, which at this point really doesn't do much, thanks to coaching. And just Moonblast here. Cool, and they split their damage. That works for me. The problem is I didn't really get, like... Well, I actually got decent value out of Zekrom Dynamax. I mean, I KO'd Kyogre and Zacian, but... Basically, it's 2v4, but my opponent has a Dynamax advantage and speed advantage right now. So, it's perfect position for them to potentially pull off a comeback. I do have Fake Out Pressure this next turn. I think it very much boils down to what their last Pokemon is. It's actually Yveltal, which I'd say is a good sign for me because that's not super good into either Zekrom or Zacian. What's interesting here is, one, is it special or physical Yveltal, and two, can they KO Zekrom? Because if not, what I could do is actually just Fake Out Whimsicott here and, like, Bolt Strike. But I actually think the play I prefer here is Parting Shot into the Yveltal slot and Protect. If I get this off, I'm in amazing shape. There's also low-key a world in which you Dynamax Whimsicott to max Starfall for a KO, but then you just lose to Zacian, so I don't think that's actually the play. But if they read into, like, the Protect here, that could be really bad for me. And, like, if they KO Incineroar, it's a disaster, I would say. Because they could just go Moonblast onto Zekrom, right? But then it's like, do you really not worry about Fake Out pressure from my end? Because I could have just easily gone for Fake Out plus Bolt Strike, which I think is the most obvious play. They go for Darkness, though, which I'm happy to see. Into Zekrom, beautiful. Okay, so that's good. What we're trying to do now is stall out my opponent's Dynamax because Zacian should win this endgame for us. The problem is the lack of Protect on a lot of Pokemon. Your Life Orb Yveltal, good to confirm that. And they Moonblast Zekrom. Beautiful. Yeah, like I said, most, players there I think would expect Fake Out into Whimsicott and then Zekrom to just attack there. My opponent could have gotten a pretty significant advantage by, like, Airstream Moonblast Instant or Max Darkness Moonblast Instant. But now I don't lose a Pokemon and I get a free switch in, which is pretty critical. I think here I'm okay to go into Marshadow first. Yeah. The reason for this is because I don't want Zacian out on the field just eating up random special attack drops quite yet, I think. Or sorry, special defense drops. With Marshadow now, I can Shadow Sneak to just KO the or not KO, break Focus Sash on Whimsicott, and then switch back out into Incineroar on Zekrom slot. I don't even know if a -1 Life Orb Airstream plus Moonblast KOs that slot, and even if it does, it's not the end of the world. But you can see why I was valuing, like, Marshadow Zekrom earlier, right? A coaching boost means that I just survive attacks a lot easier, which is sweet. And, like, that play rough from Zacian did very little damage to us. Okay, so Marshadow is going to get the Shadow Sneak off. Pretty sweet damage. They go for another Max Darkness. Yep. Onto Incineroar. Beautiful. And the fact it's Darkness over Airstream is even better for us, because obviously I resist it. So... this is, like, the thing when you are down 2-4, like, even if you have conserved your Dynamax, like, you kind of have to make maximum value out of the Dynamax, and so far, like, we're doing an okay job kind of stalling out, which is pretty good. They Moonblast into Marshadow, perfect. Now I can actually just bring out the Zacian. So we've seen Charm, Tailwind, Moonblast on Whimsicott. We haven't seen Protect yet. Since Yveltal's Dynamax is over... Tailwind's over. Like, I'm content just bringing out Zacian here. Zacian should just beat both of my opponent's Pokemon. Like, that's why I was, like, okay trading aggressively in the early game, because I was like, okay, if your Dynamax option is Yveltal in the late game, you shouldn't really have too much against me. Even if you have Life Orb Max Flare here, it's okay, because you're at -1, and we have bulky Zacian. -1 special defense, -1 special attack. No more Tailwind. I mean, there's really nothing left, so... here, I'm content to just Fake Out plus Behemoth Blade Whimsicott. Go for a knockout onto that. No Protect. No Helping Hand. That should be game over then. Even if Yveltal crits Life Orb Max Flare here, I don't think you ever KO Zekrom in one shot unless you also get a crit onto that. So you would need double crit right now to win the game, potentially. And And like the other thing is if you actually have Max Flare, you would set up the Sun so that Incineroar Flare Blitz also does more damage. And they go for Airstream. Perfect. Into Incineroar, and that's not enough for a KO. Yeah, I think the turn that won us this game was this the Protect on Zekrom and Imparting Shot on Yveltal, because like they just in the end actually didn't even pick up a single knockout with their Dynamax on Yveltal, right? We were able to mitigate it really effectively, which was nice. But the thing is, one good turn from my opponent can snowball this game out of control, and if they had like red into the Zekrom protecting, I could have lost the game, which was really scary. So that turn worked out for us, but definitely was not a move that like, you know, it's like I could still lose the game from that position, right? But after that turn, I was feeling really good. And the fact that Yveltal like didn't land a prediction into my switch-ins also helped. So yeah, we get to pull off the MARSHADOW ZEKROM combination. It's not like it absolutely just swept my opponent, but it applied a lot of pressure immediately. MARSHADOW having Focus Sash, being able to break Sash on Whimsicott is nice. And of course, just getting the coaching boost off onto the ZEKROM as well. So yeah, very fun first game here for us. Alright, we've got the Riolu Magearna team that I actually featured on the channel just a couple of weeks ago. If you want to watch the episodes that I played with this team, check it out in the description below. This was a team built by 2017 World Champion Ryota Otsubo, and it generally centers around Riolu using Copycat Max Guard from Magearna to set up Trick Room. So one way to like stop that is actually click Fake Out into it potentially. Yeah, that's definitely one option. How do I want to beat Magearna? Eerie Impulse from Thundurus is also really good here, I think. I could just lead something like Incineroar. Marshadow plus Zacian is actually somewhat interesting to me as well. But I think we should try to deny the Riolu setup as much as possible. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm gonna lead Incineroar plus Zekrom, and in the back I want Marshadow and Zacian, I think. Alright, let's try this out. The idea with this lead is, I mean, Thundurus was really tempting here because of Eerie Impulse onto Magearna, truthfully. But with Incineroar and Zekrom, like if they lead Riolu Magearna turn 1, I can just fake out the Riolu and, you know, max Airstream it. The interesting thing is with Magearna, you could actually just click Trick Room rather than going for the max guard strat. But they're going to go with Kyogre and Calyrex. Okay. So Zekrom pressures Kyogre with Max Lightning immediately here, which is fairly good. Fake Out's not really that strong for me, but because Zekrom's faster here, what I can do turn 1 is probably just Max Lightning the Kyogre slot. And I could hard switch Incineroar, I could go for something like a Parting Shot. I mean, I do have Marshadow in the back. I think Kyogre Dynamaxing here certainly makes sense. I'm not opposed to a Throat Chop, because then I can just Shadow Sneak it for a KO. And I don't think Incineroar is actually that important in this game. I mainly brought it to deal with the Riolu Magearna setup. So yeah, I think I'm down for just Throat Chop, Dynamax, and Max Lightning turn 1 onto Kyogre. Because then the idea is I can keep going for coaching boosts onto Zekrom, make it even stronger. Yeah, I think having the Marshadow here also, like because of Focus Sash, I don't know, just it actually can deal decent damage and get 2 hits off, which is really nice. Okay, Kyogre just protects, that's fine. Oh, they're going for the Trick Room approach here with Calyrex. Okay, I think that's smart. It's interesting though, because I did a lot of damage to Kyogre already, and now my Incineroar will outspeed them under Trick Room, right? But I think that's a smart play. I like that a lot on their end. So I think this game was probably all about like enabling Magearna on their end. I think here I probably want to go for a Parting Shot. I mean, I do have a double KO in front of me if I want to take it, but then it gives my opponent 2 free switch-ins, and I'm worried about, I don't know, like Magirna plus Amoonguss or Riolu potentially coming in. Is Riolu that scary, though? I don't think so. So what I could do here is Parting Shot into Kyogre, but then I have to eat up, like, what? Oh, no, but Zekrom can just KO them. Okay. Parting Shot into Kyogre. I'm actually going to get rid of Kyogre here, because, like, them having Calyrex out under Trick Room is quite awkward for them in the moment. And they actually protect Calyrex. That's beautiful for us. Okay. Cool. Question is who I want to go out into right now. I could go into Marshadow. At this point, Marshadow's best bet is, like, I'm not really going to be able to get coaching off with it, but I can Shadow Sneak Calyrex for a KO, which is sweet. I think it's better to bring Marshadow out right now over Zacian, because I think Zacian's really essential in dealing with Magirna later on in this battle. They actually just opt for Spout, okay. Makes sense, you don't really want to risk missing there. Like, if they missed Origin Pulse onto Marshadow there, they could be in really bad shape. I have to be careful about Magirna snowballing this game too quickly, though, right? It's going to come out right now. It's going to be able to potentially Dynamax, target Zekrom. Yeah, so there's Magirna. Okay, I think I want to switch Zekrom out into Incineroar here. 3 turns of Trick Room left. I actually think I'm down to max guard. Basically, right now, my opponent having Calyrex doesn't really do anything for them in this current game state. I'm hoping they go Dynamax Magirna, try to Starfall into Zekrom, and just, like, Astral Barrage or something. And essentially, like, I want to keep the Calyrex out on the field because it's just not doing very much for my opponent right now other than Astral Barrage. And what I'm trying to do is deny them free special attack boosts, right? Like, yeah, of course I could go for Shadow Sneak with Marshadow onto Calyrex, get the KO there. But then the Magirna just gets the +1. And then if Magirna gets another KO onto Marshadow or Zekrom, it's at +2 after 1 turn. Whereas with this play, it's very unlikely you'll get any special attack boost this turn. And we're, like, nearing the end of Trick Room here, so I'm trying to stall it out as well. Okay, so we're going on the defensive. They're going to go for Steel Spike here onto the Incineroar slot. Fine by me. If we could get a Parting Shot off into Magirna successfully next turn, that would be absolutely huge, and I do expect to be able to pull that off. Problem is defense boosts from my opponent's end right now. That's not good for me. Zekrom's Dynamax ends. Okay, I want to click Parting Shot here into Magirna and switch Zekrom out into Zacian. Then the next turn, I want to protect Zacian. We can bring in Marshadow. I can finally Shadow Sneak. Trying to stall out Magirna's Dynamax to the best of our ability right now. The thing is, the Zekrom switch out here is fairly obvious. There's a chance that they just end up going for Steel Spike Astral Barrage here, and if they KO Zacian, that would be a nightmare for me. The other consideration is just simply sacrificing the Zekrom as is. So we'll see if they ended up going for Starfall or not. Okay, they switched the Calyrex. That's fine by me. It's Yveltal coming out. Okay, so Zacian in this endgame is looking fairly powerful. Yep, Starfall. Okay, that's really good for us. Nice. This is how you, like, kind of need to play around Magirna, ideally. Just, like, don't give it, like, free boosts for no reason. So far, so good. It's worked out decently well. Now I get a Parting Shot of into Magirna. It is at +1 defense, so let's remember that in the long run. I get a switch out. I think we just go out into Zekrom and I just double protect now. You know, I could actually hard switch Zekrom back into Incineroar, because then with that, it pressures me with Fake Out onto Magirna next turn, and then I can, like, Fake Out plus Behemoth Blade it to prevent it from Trick Rooming, so I actually don't hate that option here. Yeah, switch into Incineroar and protect here. That works for me. I think we've done a fairly good job playing around Magearna so far. I'm just a little bit sad because like Marshadow hasn't been able to just like get coaching boosts for free, but this is like we have to be really patient here, I think. Even a single coaching in this endgame can be huge, right? Because getting Zacian to +2 or Zekrom to +1 is very, very good for us. Yveltal switches. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, into Calyrex. This is going to be a close finish, but the thing is, next turn I pressure with Fake Out Magearna, and I can just KO the Calyrex slot. Calyrex, of course, could protect, though, which is one concerning thing. Go for Steel Spike onto Zacian. Yep. 139, 119. That did 20 damage. Not bad. Cool. So that worked out well. Like, the reality is I still have 4 Pokemon. I haven't really taken that much damage yet, but Magearna is a Pokemon that just has so much snowball potential. You have to play fairly carefully around it. Yeah, I mean, here I think I'm down to just click Fake Out onto Magearna. And Blade onto Calyrex. Calyrex could protect, it could Astral Barrage, but Astral shouldn't KO Zacian thanks to us being bulky. And Magearna's at -1 special attack right now, so your damage output isn't that amazing. It's just a little bit frustrating. I never really got to use Marshadow to KO the Calyrex, but what I can do is get a single coaching boost off with Marshadow in this endgame, and that would be huge. Okay, no protect, no switches. They're just going to go for Astral. That's fine. We should survive with both. Yeah. It does give Magearna a special attack boost, though, which is slightly scary. This is what I mean, right? Like, Magearna can still snowball this really quickly. If they bring out Yveltal, they can Sucker Punch Zacian. And Trick Room, I think. I would expect Sucker Punch Trick Room here, so I'm going to go for Parting Shot onto Magearna and then switch Zacian out into Zekrom. Then I can pivot the Incineroar back in. And then go for like Fake Out Bolt Strike. I can't deny another Trick Room right now, though, which is actually fairly frustrating. Okay, Zekrom comes out. They actually just went for Oblivion Wing. Okay, if I had just attacked with Zacian there, play rough onto Yveltal, I would have just won, but it's okay. Nice play by them. So Parting Shot into Magearna. Now I can go out into Marshadow. Everything is such low HP, though. Magearna can really snowball this game out of control with Dazzling Gleam, which is the main concern right now in this moment, I would say. Trick Room goes up. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to just knock out Yveltal here, I think. Sneak. Bolt Strike. Okay. It's actually not bad damage from Sneak. They're going to Gleam. Yep. Okay, Zekrom hangs on. They get a special attack boost. If we KO Yveltal, though, then it's just 2v1 against Magearna. I have Fake Out Bolt Strike. So Zekrom gets the Bolt Strike off. Yep. Nice. Gets the KO. That's one of the reasons why I think Zekrom's really good in this format. It's excellent into Yveltal. Wow, this was a really intense game. Yeah, this is not over by any means. Because Magearna can maybe just Dazzling Gleam everything for a KO now, which is really scary. Is there any way I could prevent that from happening? I believe the Magearna on that team doesn't have Protect. And there's 3 turns of Trick Room right now. So I think what I can do is Fake Out. Oh, but you're at +2 defense. That might be a problem, though. Okay, wait, hold on. If I fake out this turn, I switch Zekrom out into Zacian. The next turn, protect Zacian, switch... Yeah, I see it. I see it. So we're going to fake out here. Oops. Fake out into Magearna. We're going to go into Zacian. Then the next turn, I'm going to protect the Zacian. I'm going to switch Zekrom out into Incineroar. We're going to get rid of the Incineroar. We're going to get rid of the Zekrom. Then on the next turn, I have Fake Out plus Sacred Sword into Sacred Sword plus Flare Blitz. I think that's the right sequencing here. Yep. Okay, so that's another turn of Trick Room down. So now you look, we have 2 turns of Trick Room left. Where this becomes interesting is if they intentionally don't KO Zekrom. Like, if they don't go for Dazzling Gleam. This was such a crazy game, though, honestly. It was a really fun one. Like, Magearna set up twice. This is what I mean, right? It's like, I stalled the Magearna's Dynamax fully, but I'm still so scared about it this whole game. So, yeah, where this plan doesn't work is if they end up targeting the Zacian slot with, like, a Flash Cannon. But they go for Gleam, which is exactly what I'm looking for. Because now I can fake out Sacred Sword, Flare Blitz. So, yep. Game plan worked well here. But it took a lot of work to get here. This was a crazy, crazy game. But a really fun one at that, so... And we haven't won yet. But I'm fairly sure now... Yeah, Sacred Sword, Flare Blitz, Sacred Sword wins. Okay, Cincinnati comes back out. And yeah, just hanging out with a sliver of HP with all of our Pokemon here was so crucial. Double checking the board state. Last turn of Trick Room here. +2 defense. So we go for Fake Out. And we go for Sacred Sword. This is where having Sacred Sword is huge as well, because I can ignore these defense boosts. Yeah, Marshadow was interesting in this matchup. I unfortunately couldn't really execute it too well in the end. Okay, so they flinch. Beautiful. And now Sacred Sword just finishes it off. Ooh, that was a crit, actually, but yeah, I'm pretty sure 2 Sacred Swords plus a Flare Blitz would have always been enough, even without the crit. So, I think we would have been fine. But that was definitely quite the game. Trying to think where else I could have improved my play. Like, Magearna is just so scary, honestly, especially since we're using Zekrom. And the lead with Calyrex Kyogre, like them setting up Trick Room with Calyrex, I think was really smart, rather than depending on the Riolu Magearna combination. And that's what I was really trying to play around. So, yeah. This team, once again, is just the one that we had featured. So if you want to check it out, check out the videos that I posted with it a few weeks ago. Oh my goodness, what? XYZ, Xerneas, Yveltal, Zygarde, Calyrex, Incineroar, Amoonguss. Let's go, that's so cool. I'm rooting for my opponent here. That's an awesome team. It's like just so funny to me to like be playing a format where like even in, you know, formats with Xerneas, Yveltal, and Zygarde allowed, like you would never see, you know, 2 of the 3, let alone all 3. But in this format, you can actually pull it off. That's so cool. I'm a fan. Okay. What do we want to do here? Eerie Impulse from Thundurus is pretty good in Xerneas. Kind of worried about Zygarde, honestly. What if I go like Marshadow and Yveltal in this one? I mean, Marshadow Zekrom's actually still not bad here either, truthfully. I'm kind of down. Marshadow, Zekrom, Zacian. I think Yveltal's fine. We'll go with 4 restricteds in this one. I don't think... The thing about Thundurus that always, like, makes me hesitant is that it just doesn't do anything into Yveltal other than Thunderbolts, because I can't go for any Prankster attacks on Yveltal thanks to its Dark typing. I don't really want to bring that. And then Incineroar here... it's good against maybe for an Intimidating to Zygarde, that's it. Maybe a Parting Shot into Xerneas. I think, in a best of 3, or even just a best of 1, like the main reason I consider Thundurus is because of Eerie Impulse, but my problem is that I have to give up a fair amount of offense in order to pull that off, and I'd rather just have 4 really strong Pokemon here. It's gonna be Calyrex and Zygarde. Okay. Honestly, turn 1, like, I'm thinking about Shadow Sneak Calyrex. Like, I'm curious if they maybe try to Will-O-Wisp Zekrom here immediately. But their other play is just, you know, like Astral Barrage and Max Quake or Thousand Arrows, right? So I want to just Shadow Sneak. main debate is, what do I do with my Zekrom? I'm down to protect here. We'll see if they go for Astro Barrage. I think you have to be really worried about Dynamax Zekrom, though. They didn't max Zygarde either, so unless you're like I really would expect Will-O-Wisp given what they're doing turn 1. And if it's Will-O-Wisp, we're in such good shape going into turn 2. So there's Sash on Calyrex, yep. Ah, they did just Astro Barrage, though. Okay. Because if I had just, like, max Zekrom and Worm Winded there, I think they'd be in really tough shape going into turn 2. That's okay. See what Zygarde goes for. Could be Coil. Or, like, any boosting attack. It is just 1,000 arrows, though. Okay. I wonder if they have Will-O-Wisp on Calyrex there, then. I don't really regret that play, but, yeah, I felt like Shadow Sneak and Wormwind would have crushed them fairly hard there, because I don't really have to worry about 1,000 arrows too much there. So, ends up working out quite nicely for my opponent. Well done. Marshadow, unfortunately, won't get a coaching off in this game, but I think that's okay. Bring out Yveltal now. I'm just a little hesitant to Dynamax here. Rockslide does give me a flinch chance. But I think I'd rather just guarantee the KO on a Calyrex. I'll go for Foul Play because they might still have Will-O-Wisp here. Foul Play. I think I'll just Foul Play Dragon Claw here. Nah, it's probably Xerneas coming in. That's the other thing. Oh, it's actually Incineroar. Okay. Incineroar in general is not good for us to go up against because I'm 4 physical attackers with this team. So that's not great. Let's see if they have Will-O-Wisp now. I do have White Herb, I guess, so that helps at least. Light Screen. Okay. In the grand scheme of things, I'll take this because Zekrom did not get burnt. We get a KO on a Calyrex, and I get a Dragon Claw into Incineroar, which honestly is not half bad for us. So, could have been a lot worse. The other thing about Marshadow that's fun is, like, if they don't have Focus Sash Calyrex, you can kind of just dunk on them, but obviously we did run into Sash here. Not bad damage from Dragon Claw. Yveltal's intimidated now, so I'll probably look towards switching it out. One thing I could do is switch Yveltal and then max Airstream with Zekrom, or I could just max Lightning the Incineroar for a KO right now. Maybe Zygarde comes back in. I have to be worried about Xerneas being their last one, so what I don't want to do is max Wormwind and get them, like, have them switch into Xerneas and just be immune to it. But they actually bring Xerneas out right now. Okay. If I were my opponent, I would switch Incineroar out into Zygarde right now, I think. I mean, are they going to Geomancy here? Because, like, I can punish you heavily with damage, like, just by going for Dual Wing Beat onto Xerneas, Dynamax Zekrom, and Max Lightning. They could protect Xerneas Parting Shot. That would be the main problem. That's what I would do if I were my opponent. That's, like, kind of how I won the first game today. Basically, to debate this turn, I had a couple plays I was thinking about. Doubling up onto Incineroar, switching out into Zacian, and then Airstreaming to give it a speed boost. Or going all in and trying to KO Xerneas. Oh, and I missed! No! They didn't go for Parting Shot either, so I think this was the right play, given what they did. Oh. Okay, well, Max Lightning will still do a lot of damage here, so it's maybe still okay. I know, like, it would only have been a -1 Dual Wing Beat, but that's still chip damage on a Xerneas, and, like, yeah. Okay. Well, that definitely sucks a little bit, but we can still win for sure. Yeah, because I think Dual Wing Beat would have done enough where maybe we don't get the KO, but a Sucker Punch could finish it off even if you Dynamax, whereas that's not the case anymore, so that stings, but I could have gone for maybe Foul Play, although since they were faster with Xerneas, or sorry, slower with Xerneas, wouldn't really have done that much. Could have gone for Rock Slide as well, but, you know. The problem is now, like, you can even max Xerneas? Yeah. Actually, I don't think maxing Xerneas is the right call. I mean, if they Dazzling Gleam, I can survive with both Pokemon here, no? Maybe we're still okay. Like, honestly, I'm down to just Dual Wing Beat Xerneas here. Actually, maybe Foul Play is just better now, especially because they have the attack boosts. And I can't miss that. Foul Play and just Wormwind here. Or Lightning. Like, actually, I don't think I care that much about Zygarde. They don't protect or max either. And I survive with both. Wait, it's Choice Scarf Zygarde, or it's just really fast Zygarde? Okay. Well, either way, my opponent did not even need to Dynamax to win this one, so kudos. But I think it's a different game if Dual Wing Beat hits, because then I can just probably Sucker Punch Xerneas for a KO. So, that's definitely a bummer. I don't know my Zygarde speed here is like super well off the top of my head, so I'm curious like how fast it is here. Yeah, like if you are indeed Scarf, you won't even need to Dynamax here. I'm fairly sure it is Scarf given that I outsped Evoltol. Oh, it's not Scarf. Never mind. You're just slower. Wow. Okay. I like maybe shouldn't have. I just assumed we'd outspeed the Zygarde. Truthfully. Huh. That's funny. So how fast is Zygarde then? I mean, I know we don't have a ton of speed investment into Zekrom and the Evoltol, but yeah. Can we win this actually? No, because you can just Dynamax, Instant, Max Flare plus Moonblast Zacian, right? Yeah. Well, what if they like didn't Dynamax for some reason and didn't have a fire type attack on Zacian or on Incineroar? that would be my one out. Yeah, they just Dazzling Gleam. They didn't even need a Dynamax in this one. That was a really cool team, man. It's so cool to fight against Zygarde and Xerneas here. I wish we could have seen how much Dual Wing Beat would have did to Xerneas and whether or not it would have been in Sucker Punch KO range. Yeah, it's a shame that like we were even denied that chance, but in the end, my opponent even need to Dynamax to win, which is obviously really impressive. So yeah, turn one as well. Like I played really scared of the Will-O-Wisp. They ended up like not even potentially having it there. So like I could have just gone for like Shadow Sneak and then just Max Wormwind to get rid of the Zygarde immediately, or just like Shadow Sneak Airstream the Calyrex slot and then coaching the Zekrom Max Lightning into things as well. So yeah, but that was a really cool team and I have no shame in losing in that one. So yeah, definitely a really fun set of games. I think like, you know, Marshadow didn't really have maybe like absolutely amazing performances in this one, but we were able to bring it in all of the games. I think the coaching side is really strong here. I think after playing with this team for a little bit, I probably changed like White Herb on the Zekrom to maybe weakness policy because it synergizes with coaching really well. And often your opponents are going to activate your weakness policy for you, whether it be Play Rough or Precipice Blades, for example, onto the Zekrom slot. But yeah, those games were all really fun. Like that second one in particular was absolutely insane. But in the end, Marshadow, we brought out to all the games and the coaching combos were really fun as well. So yeah, happy to feature this Pokemon a little bit. I think having a Shadow Sneak user in this format is also just fairly valuable. So yeah, thank you so much as always for watching. If you enjoyed, please share support by leaving a like. I'd really appreciate it. Don't forget to answer the question of the day, and I'll see you all next time. All right, peace.